Introducing the 3-part options course with Hans Albrecht. Get access for free by scanning this QR code or clicking on the link in the description.
I literally had just written on this, I'm kind of mocking, but we have a consensus that risk assets rally harder. And I go through all the reasons, really, I mean, Druckenmiller's outgoing CEOs are excited. And I mean, you got everything, all-time highs. You got 666 getting planted everywhere. Quants are excited. Fundamentalists are excited. Macro wonks are excited. Technicians are excited. It's ridiculous. Everybody is risk assets rally harder. And then we get what I now understand is called a red swan. And a red swan is a client and very funny definition, which is basically, I've got to show you this, it's just too funny. My version of things we can't imagine China doing until they do. So that's going to be the title of my next market thoughts, the red swan. And that's her I love it. It works. So you know by now that this is really disruptive, this DeepSeek AI, which was just launched 5-6 days ago, but didn't really make a big ruckus until the weekend. And there are still very die-hard hardware bulls that will say, hey, Nvidia they're still essential for crypto mining, they're Bitcoin, they're still essential for the next wave. That was the old wave. The AI is still here. Maybe data centers aren't so big and important now, but they're going to get into robots, and they're really important for robots. So the point is, they're going to be very defended at some point. I don't think that this is going to be done, because I also like to remind tops are a process, bottoms are an event, and today's bloodletting in the semi space is an event. The market has kind of woken up. And this is what I said, this is what I was getting at, right? Which was, okay, so that's the bull case. Here's what bears worry about. And one of the things, obviously, that I talked about in here was right here. If Nvidia guidance disappoints, which we don't have yet, that is coming up February 19th or 29th. It's confusing. Anyway, or of course the tech bros from OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank, none of which, by the way, I trust as far as I can throw them. I mean, this is just a perpetual scoundrel, a complete just no. But in any case, doesn't matter. Trump parades them in front of the American public, or I should say Silicon Valley, and says, hey, they're investing 500 billion. And then the Saudis come out and say, hey, we're investing 600 billion. So I would say, what was fascinating to me is that China came out and literally delivered this AI service much cheaper. So now you got this kind of AI quantum growth mindset in investors' minds that's being challenged. And that's the whole point I wanted to make. It's being challenged. So they're having a knee-jerk reaction to selling first, ask questions later. And I've already talked about this, right? That this is just too much too soon, priced for perfection. That's when we kind of have this suckers rally. I saw nothing in the charts, as you know, because I said that, right? Last Wednesday night, Hans and I did the video of the webinar, and I basically said, yeah, I don't have a good feeling about it, but that's trader's instinct. I have my breadth, which is recovering, it's repairing, but it's broken. But you wouldn't know that from the price action. The price action is very technical. It's not fundamental. Fundamentals are breadth expands, and it's a very healthy backdrop. We don't have that. So again, this is me saying it's not safe. Big picture, great bounce. Oh my God, got above 60.53, which was surprising. And now we're going to go back below 60.53, and we're bouncing, but still, that's puts getting monetized in futures and the like. The big picture is, how are we going to handle this? Because we left a gap above. So, maybe Trump comes out and says, yeah, we can't have DeepSeek in the same way we can't have TikTok. But of course, both of them will ultimately be allowed. One is open source, and the other one is getting a deal done with the same Oracle guy who has a massive back office operation that centralizes data for purposes of also government. So they're all in cahoots. We are the product. Just don't ever forget that. So anyway, the point is, this was one of my top 10 lists. I don't even know what this is, but I'm going to put Red Swan. I'm going to do a whole thing on just Red Swan. Anyway, my point is, don't become too complacent when everyone's on one side of the boat, however you want to put it. This is what happened this morning. We definitely had a very big hit to the Mag 7 plays, and in particular, semis. Again, don't overreact. It is a huge deal, but the market is not real. Because they can come in and they can intercede and do all kinds of things with the options market to actually protect and defend. And this is what we've been seeing for a few years now. And I don't see any reason for that to change. But we definitely have a meeting this week on FOMC that people are going to think they're going to cut. It's probably a pause still. Later they will have to cut if the market continues to weaken. We have mega cap earnings. 3 out of the 7 report Wednesday after the close, and then Apple on Thursday after the close. Keep this in mind. I love this data that Chris did up, and it basically Mag 7, 60% of the S&P, 29% return over the past 3 years, even though they lost 40% in 2022. And they were a huge component of this also is Nvidia. And of course, their contribution to net income growth and sales growth. But Nvidia, more than 25% of the S&P's 29% return over the last 3 years. So we're talking half of the gain. So that's why all eyes are on Nvidia. I know not to get into the technical ramifications of which is better and all that. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying the motivations are very clear to me that they have to think about this now. Is end demand real for Nvidia and semis, given the pace at which China just deployed this new technology? Granted, copycat. Granted, they're lying through their teeth about how much money it costs them. Doesn't matter. It's here. So we have to really kind of think about the motivations of those who are holding Mag 7 and what it means for their portfolio, and the fact that they're going to start protecting that portfolio maybe a lot more aggressively now. That's what I wanted to say. Also, I think it provides a fabulous opportunity for China. So I think, and I've talked about this a little bit, down here before all this stuff, but the fact that China's coming in, granted, copycat, open source, whatever you want to say, with the goal clearly to cause a reminder that they are not impotent. In fact, I think tariffs on China will be a really bad idea. I think Trump will have a really hard time getting this not to blow back on his plan. So I don't think they're going to just sit around. They'll say, okay, fine, we shut off supplies, or okay, fine, we're going to launch this other copycat product to a Mag 7 and make it open source, whatever. I don't think it's going to be so easy. That's the stuff that the market is right now going, oh my God, what happened? So right now it's a knee-jerk reaction. It probably gets defended, but it might take a few weeks. In the meantime, this is definitely a big hit to semis. But interestingly enough, part of the DeepSeek allure was that you didn't need these huge data centers. All you needed was a really good MacBook, and you could program it yourself. So let's see what happens with Apple this morning. But this is it. I think Baba and other China plays are going to be like, wait a minute. We have been ignoring this group because Trump's going to tariff them. I don't think Trump's going to have anywhere near the success he wants to now. And I think that's the message. I also think they're saying, we know Mag 7 is overbought, overvalued, but look at these China tech plays. Oh, so anyway, I think Jeffrey's been on this for a solid year. I mean, 1 whole year. And it was actually January of last year when Baba hit their IPO price. And we happened to catch it for a nice bounce. Again, in October, perfectly in and out. And then I said it's going to hit the wall and come back down. And then December, the China plays did another bounce. And I said, promises. I don't think it's ready until about March. Remember that? I still think China is going to be a rotation, but this is what I'm looking at now as kind of one of the beneficiaries. And then, of course, Baba, seriously, Chinese tech. This wasn't in play, as far as I'm concerned. As I warned, didn't think this would be back in play until about March timeframe. Now we had a little, it was brought forward a tad with Chinese tech right now doing wonders. Remember, this was the October, like literally gorgeous, caught that. This December, I said, nope, promises, and it came back in. A 2-bar reversal on a lot of these plays is trying to be productive and move higher, but I also still have my doubts that this is going to be the rotation. I really have my doubts. In fact, it's getting sold right here in a reversal intraday. So careful at that 90. See what happens when it gaps up? It dies a terrible death. So the 200 is definitely doing its job, but you need to add time on this thing. If you're really, really bullish, and I know some of you are exceptionally bullish, you still have to add time. This is a monthly. It's ugly, I know, but look at this gorgeous scoop pattern. And I said, when this gets above 120, it'll double. But the effort that it's going to take to get above 120 is massive. Right here. This was the monthly, right? Same thing I did, which is that was that beautiful October rally. It hit the wall and I warned it's hitting the wall. I showed you the Shanghai and the monthly view and the weekly view and all that jazz, and it came back in. So now it's trying to get above the 10 and 21, very productive. See that 90.46? In fact, I wrote trend reversal needs 90.46 monthly close above. Daily is doing well off the 200-day. That's the 200-day. But be careful, because once it comes into this zone, it likely gets sold. So they're trying to base, but they will still succumb to massive headline risk. And I still strongly believe they will not rally until there is either massive stimulus by China, which they don't need to do, or there's a resolution to trade tariff talk. And as I just started my rant this morning, I think Trump will be, oh my gosh, very surprised. If he really, really wants to play that game, I think they have shown a massive card to upend his most cherished possession, which is a rising stock market.
Join Club today to engage with Samantha and her team of 10 experts. Scan this QR code or click the link in the description. Subscribe to LaDuc Trading YouTube channel for more live trading room recap videos and other content.